Hello, 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 everybody. Hey, Tracy Allen living in my truth. Again, it's Wednesday. Got something for you. Hey, y'all gotta get used to this too. This is my introduction. I'm just living in my truth. In my truth. Hey. Hey, y'all. Hey. Y'all can hear this live on the LNT Awards. The person who wrote it and created it will be there live at the LNT Awards. Tracy Allen Living in My Truth Awards. I'm living in my truth. Hey. Hey, Brian. This is my intro song. And in my truth. Ah! I love it, I love it, I love it, Bree. That was wrote for me by my niece. She did such an awesome job. She'll be at the LNT Awards singing it live as well. I'm loving it and giving her some shout outs. Give her some of these hearts. Love it, love it. How you doing, Bree? Yes. Getting ready for that thing too. You gotta be there because it's gonna be awesome. I tell you, it's gonna be a night to remember. Believe that. You know, I just love the fact that I'm able and blessed, you know, that I'm able to honor people who come and share their strengths and hopes on the couch. You know, I always say this couch is getting famous, you know, and don't have a problem with that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so happy and blessed that this thing is working for people. You know, I appreciate you being on every week. I mean, you don't miss it, and that's just God. You know what I mean? That's just somebody who believes in what I'm saying and what is being done here. You know, y'all know I must talk about the LNT Award. You know what I mean? And make sure that you guys... oh, here it is. I was wondering why this thing wasn't moving. Yeah, that is, thank you. That is amen. You exhausted, Bree? You be all right. You was up enough to watch this show. I appreciate you. Love you to death. Thank you so much. Just to, you know, talk a little bit about the award show. You know, I had 15 awesome honorees, you know, that sat on this couch and gave it up. Yes, gave it up. Thank you for the hearts. You know, and I'm sending them right back too. You know, and gave up and shared so much information and education. You know, share some things that they probably never even shared with their companions or with you know, friends or whatever, and came on here on this open opportunity, you know, and shared a lot of what they were feeling. And that's what this is all about. You know, I have such awesome people here. Marta Copman, Rufus Copman, Bayot Williams, y'all. Y'all hear me? Bayot. That is my boy from since he was a little rumper. You know, to see him today is just God's blessing. That's exactly what it is. You know, and how far he has come. Hey, Jackie, how you doing? My girl, Jack from school, you know, from Keystone. How you doing, girl? I have Quanisha Swiggett, y'all, the Bishop Anthony C. Hanna. Wow. I tell you, this thing is fantastic. It really is. To have all these awesome people. Hey, Kimberly, how you doing? I have Reverend Dr. William Rocky Brown. I'm going to keep coming. I also have Miss Anitra Green. Awesome. In mental health and grief. Awesome. I have Rufus Copman. I have the one and only Tara Jones, y'all. Y'all hear me? They all came here and sat on this couch. I also have Miss Erica Tillery. She's coming back. You know, all of them are coming back. You know? My girl, Mary Almond. Y'all hear what I'm saying? My girl, Mary Almond. And the one and only Miss Coretta Kinder. I tell you, I am so excited for her, you know, and my sister, Sharon Potts. These are the honorees of 2026, Living in My Truth. Y'all come on out and walk the purple carpet with us. It's going to be a blessing, you know, and it's going to be awesome. Believe me when I tell you that. It's going to be a beautiful day and a beautiful show. You know, and again, I thank all of them for coming on and sharing. You know, this year, I'm also doing a part of the show that I didn't do last year. You know, it was, it's the Distinguished Civic Impact Recipients. And what I mean by that is these are some young ladies that put their all, their love, and their faith in God in helping others, you know. I have the remarkable Tanisha Palmer. I have Sharona Brown, Chaplain Amanda Johnson, Councilwoman Tamika Williams. You know, all these women are just fantastic. I just get chills, you know, just talking about them because they give, and they help people, you know. And when I say they constantly do this thing, they do because this is their love to the people, you know, and a way that God has them walking. You know, Sharona and Felicia Johnson, you know, these two started a walk for autism. It's been 15 years, and they're still walking. You know, these are the type of things that just, you know, just give me chills and just allow me to just love these women, you know, for what they do. You know, and I know all of them, you know what I mean? But God has a walk for each and every individual in this world, you know? And they do such a remarkable job, you know? And I'm glad to be a part of their lives and honoring them for the work that they do. They don't have to, they choose to, you know, and that's what makes the difference, you know, for me. Kimberly Tate said, I'm definitely coming. Kitty, hey Kitty. Good to see you on. Is that my girl Gilda? Hey. I ain't seen seen you in a minute, but I know you there. I ain't even worried about that. I know you there. You know, so y'all got to come on out and walk the purple carpet with us. Get sharp, get pretty, get handsome. You know what I mean? It's just like as if we going to the Grammys or the Emmys, you know, but this is full of love, you know, and dedication, you know, and I just can't wait for June the 27th, y'all. It's going to be at the Dream Terminal, you know, in Chester, Overtown, 400 Avenue of the States. It's going to be from 4 to 8, you know, and we have a special presentation. You follow that will be coming along with that, you know, so try to come. Y'all come on and come. You know, I will tell you, tickets is moving. That's for sure. Tickets are really moving, you know, and I know I'm going to have to open up the upstairs too next year. The whole building, we're gonna bust that whole building up, you know. So, you know, y'all come on out, y'all experience this with us and have a great time. It's dinner, it's fun, it's food, it's entertainment. You know what I mean? Tickets is $50. You can't, I mean, you're really going to enjoy it. You really go, it's definitely worth your while. There's no doubt about that. You know, I don't like to, you know, brag or nothing. But y'all know when Tracy Allen kicks an event out, no matter what she does, she put her all in it. And it always turned out to be blessed by God. You know what I mean? You definitely won't not walk out of there saying some things. You hear what I'm saying? Because I'm prepared for you. I'm prepared to repair, to excite everybody that's going to come to this show. Trust me. So bring a little tissue if you want to too. You know what I mean? But everything that's going to be done, every award that's given out is for that person that will receive that award. Trust me. All right, y'all. You know, thanks. If anybody wants to send stars to me on this podcast, you know, you can. That definitely helps me keep my motive up. Hey, y'all, hey, look, I done moved up. I ain't got the last little star, y'all. I got the last little thing down there going, you know, going to start coming at me. You know what I mean? The show is doing great, you know, and you know how everybody always say, girl, you'll get paid for this. You'll get that. Well, see, that wasn't my intent when I came on. You know what I mean? As it really isn't now. My intent was to come on and do just what Living in My Truth is doing. You know, helping people understand the life of an addict and an alcoholic under the influence and sober, you know, and allowing the families to get to understand how we really work and think and, you know, what we go through and what we do. You know, I just felt like, you know, we go through depression as well. We go through mental health. We go through grieving. You know what I mean? We do all of this. Anxiety has so much to it. It's just not that we just junkies, you know, an alcoholic and that's that and we can't stop. You know what I mean? It's a process for that. And thankfully and gratefully, you know, for me, that process is the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous or the 12 steps of Alcoholic Anonymous. And I hope that this show is really helping you, you know, and helping anybody can come on, even if we have to do it, you know, on video, on Zoom. We can do that too. You know, if you live out of the region, you know, inboxing me is very easy, and you can do that. You know, if you want to donate, you know, anything towards this wonderful thing that I'm doing here, you know, for helping people, you know, I have a Cash App that you can send any amount, anything to you know, to us, you know, to help us to continue and to keep the show going. You know what I mean? It just helped, you know, a lot. You know, I have t-shirts, y'all. I have mugs. I have jewelry. I'm telling you, I have pocketbooks. They will be at the award show, but I'm getting my room together in here because I'm going to be coming on a little bit more than just one day. Living in My Truth will just be one day, but I'm going to be coming on with On the Eye, you know, through the days. just a little bit more, and talk some real personal stuff. So y'all be looking out for that. Some beautiful person, from here, sent me a desk because I mentioned I needed a desk, and somebody, Miss Sylvia, actually bought me a desk and brought it to me. I mean, God is just sending the things that I need to continue to do what I do, and I am just so grateful, prayerfully grateful. I had CMP, Uncle P. He came out and he helped me with the earplugs, the mic, so that I could speak, a little bit more clearly, and you guys can hear me. And I appreciate that, so, these are just all blessings that has been coming my way, and I'm really grateful. I hope I got the mic on. That I'm really grateful, do I? I hope so. This thing should be green. I hope it's on, but anyway, it's turning green when I put it back on to charge. I don't get that. They charged up really good all night. But anyway, guys, just, I'm just grateful for all that everybody is doing. You don't have to, but if you choose to, we'll appreciate that, to help out with the cause of what we're doing. I also have a sponsorship opportunity for Living in My Truth at the show. We're doing a sponsoring book. It will be digital. You will receive it digitally. A full page is $100, or a half page is $50, and a quarter page, like if you have a card or just want to say something small, is $25. If you can, participate in. And we also, from this, I want to give some of the proceed to a scholarship, a little small scholarship. I want to start off with that too, for some of these young folks who can use it. You know what I mean? Right now, I can't afford thousands, but I'm going to put some money in this thing. You know what I mean? Regardless of that, have to come out my own pocket. Because I just feel like that's what I want to do for somebody who can use it. That is now, our young folks going in these schools. It's so expensive to do everything. So, that's what my heart touched. God touched my heart with that too, and I'm going to try my best to do my best at it. So today's topic is we are blessed with rewards when we trust in this process. Again, we are so blessed with rewards when we trust in the process. Because recovery is something that, we just need help with it, y'all. We have to find something or somebody, to help us, to restore our sanity. And we definitely have to learn what this thing is, that take us to this place. You know what I mean? Besides just knowing that it's the drug, it's the power of the drug and what the drug releases, which is a disease, a thing called disease that becomes an addiction that's cunning, baffling, and powerful. You know what I mean? And having a spiritual awakening as a result, the result of step 12, we come to live a recovery lifestyle. When you go through these 12 steps, it is there and built for you from step 1 to step 12. And at the end of step 12, you're going to feel like a whole new you. You know what I'm saying? You're really going to feel the spirit, and you're going to know that there is a higher power. You're going to know that there is a God. And again, these steps really are based off of a religious, off a religious program. I'm sorry. Some people, can't get the process. It's like no matter how far down the scale we have gone, and when I say that, I mean how far you went, you know, while you was on these drugs. You know what I'm saying? You know how we say that I'll never, you know, I was talking about that last week. I'll never do this. I would never do that. You know I'm not going to be like that, and I'm not going to do this, huh? I know it fooled me. Fooled a whole lot of us. You hear what I'm saying? So no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experiences can benefit others by telling our stories and trusting in the 12 steps. Because see, the 12 steps is going to help us to restore our sanity. That's what it's built to do. You know what I mean? And make us stronger than ever, you know, and become this person that you have always been. You just didn't know, you know, because we let other things, you know, get in between us and God. You know what I mean? Instead of, you know, really getting to know who God is. And the one of us that thought we already knew, we let him down. You know what I mean? We didn't have the trust. And like last week, I was talking about the faith in God, you know, because that's the power of helping us to have that conscious contact and understanding with him. I know that's how it worked for me. You know, I can't speak for everybody, but that's most certainly what it done for me. You know, so we will see how our experiences, you know, meaning everything that we've been through, can benefit others by telling our stories. I've really learned a lot. I'm like a hands-on person. I really learned a lot from listening to people like me in the rooms telling their stories. It taught me befores and it taught me afters and it taught me balance, you know, and it's like my medication, you know, it's a part of recovery medication. That's what I call it, you know, and before you can even get that part, you have to learn how to listen, like I say all the time, so that you can hear, and then you'll be able to start seeing and comprehending. We will not regret the past, nor will we shut it out. Okay? Because we got to remember who we are. We have to remember disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. We have to remember that we welcome this disease inside. And when it came, it ripped us apart. It separated the main two things in man and woman in our body, and that's the brain and the heart. You follow? Separated. You know, so you couldn't have no control, nor could you feel the control that you thought you used to have, you know, because it takes that first. It just snatched the emotions out, and you start not feeling, not thinking, you know, not seeing, you know. It's like, where the brain? Where the brain? You follow? Where the brain? You know, is it over there? Is it up there? Is it over there? Where's the brain? Because you can't feel enough to even know that it's there. You know, as long as you feed your addiction, this is the path that it takes you under, you know, and you don't even know that you're doing this, or, you know, when it starts making you looking bad, and, you know, and when you start feeling bad, you got to gas it up like a car. A car can't get down past that red mark or it shuts off. You know what I'm saying? We go through that too. You know, the speed pedometer and all that stuff is, and where the gas thing is, you got to fill it up. You know what I mean? With that dope. But once it get down, and it go down, and it get empty, oh boy. It start to puffing. And your brain get to like, Jesus Christ. What? Feed me. And feed me now. You know, and disease is like, whip. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel nothing but pain. You don't feel nothing but heartache. You don't feel nothing but, I got to get this. I got to get this. I don't care. And then it shuts in there. I don't care how I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. It be all those things we said that we would never do. You know what I mean? Our whole attitude and outlook upon our lives will change. You know, like accepting these things I was just saying. Accepting the things that you cannot change. Change the things you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. You know what I mean? That is such a, I just love those words. You know what I mean? Them words are my power words. Those words are the words that keep me strong, keep me up. you know what I mean, on top of disease. You know what I mean? Keep me up on top of people. You know what I mean? Keep me ready for people. Keep me up on top of places, making choices, the places that I don't want to be, that I don't need to be. You know what I mean? And put me where I should be. You follow what I'm saying? It's a beautiful thing. It really is. The awards are coming. You know what I mean? But we have to understand these things right here, because sometimes we get impatient. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we start feeling good. Disease is tricky. It has a trigger with it. You know what I mean? And the more you not, you know, do what disease wants you to do, disease is weakness, so it gets hungry. You know what I mean? Disease is starting to, you know, break a little bit. You know what I mean? It's getting scared. You know, because it can be defeated by a higher power. You know what I mean? But it's going to keep you confused and keep you messed up. You know what I mean? While you trying to get where you need to be and find some recovery, and it's trying to keep you down so you can die. You know what I mean? That battle is rough. That battle is hard. That battle is crazy. You know, that's why when you see the people and they start changing on you, then you be like, goodness gracious. You know what I mean? What happened to her? You know, and then we start looking all crazy. I don't know what's going on with this. We start looking all crazy, and then we can't control ourselves. We don't even see you looking. You don't even exist. You people and everybody else ain't even in the way. You know what I mean? We in our own way, and that's all we see is us in the battle. You follow what I'm saying? We are totally blind. We see us in the battle, and that battle is rough. That battle is crazy. I'm going to let you know it's crazy, you know, because I lived it, I understand it, and I'm here to talk about it. You follow? But we got some love, and we got some trust, and we got some medication, and I'm not talking about the medications that they give you to make you crazy. That's how I see about it. I feel about it. Hey, CMP, you know, they on the line to y'all. Y'all got to check him out and watch him. But I'm going to tell you something about this freaking disease. Our whole attitude and our outlook on life will change if you follow this process. If you work the process, like I said, you know, we are blessed with rewards when we trust in the process. We are totally blessed. You know what I mean? I'm living proof, and many others are living proof. I'm telling you, but I couldn't do this thing without a higher power, y'all. I'm telling you, I tried it, but that thing didn't work. You know, I got that armor when I got back in with God and said, I'm sorry, I feel so blessed. That's what my shirt says. You know what I mean? I am so blessed. You know, and my rewards are out. I just can't say enough. You know, it got my gratitude just blown up, all the way up. You know what I mean? I'm so grateful that I have lived through that valley of death. Y'all hear me? Valley of death, and come back here and be able to share all of it. Share all of it so people can know there is a way out the tunnel. So people can know that you do not have to serve the devil called disease, DIS/EASE anymore. All you need to be is aware. You have to be aware that it's cunning, baffling, and powerful. And then you're going to live with this thing for the rest of your life. Now, I don't look like what I've been through. Thank you, God. I don't look like what I've been through. I don't look like I weigh 82.5 pounds. I don't look like I'm malnourished. You know what I mean? I look very nourished. You know what I mean? Wearing a whole 180. You follow what I'm saying? And blessed by the best with it because I followed the process. I don't know if I would be here if it wasn't for the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. You know what I mean? I don't know if I would be here if it wasn't for the NA book. You know what I mean? And the AA book. That's like our Bible. You follow what I'm saying? You know, this thing is structured to bring you back to reality and know that you have a higher power, whom I choose to call God, who's right there and always been there. You follow what I'm saying? That allowed these people that created this book. That's Bill and Bob. You know, there's a few more of them guys too. You know what I mean? But Bill and Bob was the one that adjusted this thing and put this thing together. And I'm grateful for them. And I know a lot of us that's in recovery are grateful for them. You know what I mean? Because they found and gave us away. And that's all but for the grace of God. Because the first thing they put in step one that you have to surrender. You have to find that higher power greater than self to help you restore your sanity. You know what I mean? This thing is powerful, y'all. It's such a blessing. And this is why I share it. And this is why I do what I do with living in my truth. This is how I came up with it because that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I ain't got it all together, but guess what? I'm working on it. You know what I mean? But the one thing I don't do is use. You follow what I'm saying? The one thing I learned how to do that I got that strength for today is know my people, places, and things. You follow? And that is a whole castle. You know how they build the castles to protect the king? That's my whole front of the castle. And the pawns is lined up. Believe me, them pawns are them 12 steps. You follow what I'm saying? And you can't get at me because the knights is going to protect me. Y'all hear what I'm saying? You know, this thing is bad. And if I show you over here, I have the king and the queen and the knight. You know what I mean? Life size. You know what I mean? But everything in here in my home means something to me in this particular room where I opened up the couch. No matter where I look, I find, you know, my lifestyle today, my recovery, my loved ones, you know, my peace. You know what I'm saying? It gives me so much energy and so much strength. You know, our whole attitude and our whole outlook is going to look upon you and change your life. It is when you find some structure and trying to help you to create a sober lifestyle. There's no doubt about that. Hey, Tamika. How are you? There's my sister Dion and Breon 4. Hey, y'all. You know, I'm talking about when we are blessed with rewards, when we trust in the process, you know, which mean in the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. You know, it is medication. I call it medication, and I have to take it every day. And I hope that all the still suffering addicts and alcoholics and the ones who are living in a recovery lifestyle is still taking this medication. You know what I mean? I can't go a day without it. Just like they gave me freaking high blood pressure pills and say I have to take them for the rest of my life every day. Well, I know for sure that when I get this love and this power from my higher power, he's the one to make that decision. He's the one to let me know that you're going to live the day because I live one day at a time. And for each day that I wake up, I'm blessed with all of that. The high blood pressure, y'all, the lupus, and all that stuff. Because, see, my disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. And this thing was trying to kill me every day, every single day. You follow what I'm saying? And I found my higher power. I found and trust in the process. And today, now, I'm kicking the process. You know what I mean? I'm kicking it. Y'all see my Michael Jackson look? I'm kicking the process. Y'all hear what I'm saying? And today I'm grateful, you know, but I don't know what this disease have in store for me tomorrow because it's a tricky little devil. You know what I mean? It will hit you in unknown spaces, in unknown times. It will just pop up. It'll pop up and it'll come and you'll be like, dang, this thing still don't give up because it never will. You know what I mean? But I live such a great life today, and I don't have everything. You know what I mean? But I got enough to make me happy. I have my recovery. I have my senses. You know what I mean? I can put out, and offer you some information and education on how to stay clean. You know what I mean? So I walk the walk and talk the talk for my higher power because that's what he had lined up for me. You know what I mean? That's why he kept me safe to get out of here, out of that crazy situation I was in and share it with the people. You know what I mean? I guess he chose me because he know I can do this all the time. You know what I mean? And when I put out, I give and I give and I give and I talk 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 loud. You know what I mean? I talk very loud and I do loud things. You know what I'm saying? Because it works. It works if you work it. Starting to feel it a little bit, y'all. Y'all know how I get. You know, we realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. That's what I learned. I could not stop this thing. You know what I mean? I had all my ways of stopping this thing. And I would stop here and I would stop there. And sometimes I'll stop every damn where. But at the end of the day, hit me. Relapse came right in. Bop, 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 bop. Every time, because I didn't have any medication. I didn't have nothing. All I had is what I thought I used to have, a brain and a heart. And I didn't even realize disease just took that and separated it. You know what I'm saying? Took me to a whole nother level because it had control. It had total control over me. And loved ones, this is what it does to your people, your kids, your mothers, your fathers, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts. You know what I mean? It does not discriminate, you know, and it makes you so angry because you thinking on the other side that we do it because we just want to. Oh, at the beginning we did. You know what I mean? We wasn't hurting nobody. We wasn't doing anything. At least that's what we thought. You know what I mean? But when this disease got vicious, you know what I'm saying? And wasn't tricking us no more and started making us feel that we is slave, you know what I mean? And it's going to kill us, you know what I mean? And put that pain on us that's cunning, baffling, and powerful. Hey, look, we was under, what you call that? We was under, what's the word I'm looking for? We was under, oh God, every time I get ready to say it, the damn word fly out of my head. But anyway, a trance. We was under a trance. We ain't know us either. We ain't know who we was no more either. You know what I mean? Hell, when you hollered our name, Tracy, you need to go home. You need to stop. That's when I realized that I'm Tracy. You follow what I'm saying? But otherwise, I'm not thinking, I'm not hearing, I'm not listening, I don't care. I just need to go get a hit because the hit was tearing me up. I felt like I was dying. You know, and at the end of the day, I found out I was. You know, at the end of the day, I found out I was. You know, and that's what I'm saying. We didn't know, you know, realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. We didn't know that, you know, especially me because I didn't look towards him like that. You know what I mean? You know, I'm worth the efforts it takes to be sober. That's what I had to realize. And this is what you guys have to, you know, realize and understand. We don't feel worth. We don't feel worth of anything but getting high because that's where the addiction takes us. You know what I mean? But I feel worth, you know, the efforts. And when you say efforts, I mean worth that is it's okay. It's willing. This might help me. Let me go for this. You know what I mean? Because that's where my head had to go before I even got started to know that I had a higher power greater than myself. You know what I mean? That I could trust God. And then I didn't even know that I had to have the faith because the faith was taken. You know, disease took that a long time ago. That piece of the brain up there, the dopamine part, that piece of the brain was still floating up there in the matrix. You know what I mean? And just took it so far that it never even exists anymore. You know what I mean? I told you, it's like the brain broke up in a big-ass puzzle. You know what I mean? And you got to get the pieces to put back in the right places. You know what I mean? And sometimes they'll bounce in one spot, and that's not the right spot, but it'll stick there to make you think it is, and then it'll come at you in another spot, and all these pieces are just not going where they're supposed to be, but it'll make you feel like you're going where you should and where you're supposed to be. That's the trigger of this thing. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It is so crazy when you don't have any control and then you realize you don't have any control and you're weak and you're worthless. You know what I mean? You don't believe in nothing. You know, because in our minds too, we gonna die. I'm gonna die from this stuff, man. I gotta have it. And I don't know why I had to have it. You know, before I became the junkie, until you get to the point where you look like the junkie, you act like the junkie, you sound like the junkie, you just the junkie. You know what I mean? Or the alcoholic. And then you get comfortable. You know what I mean? And you can't think no damn way because the heart and the mind is totally separated. You know, you could think you could feel at one time, but your feelings go away. It be gone. You know what I mean? So you can't feel like we feel today. You know what? I feel so good. You know what I mean? I feel my peace. You know what I mean? I feel loved. You know what I mean? You couldn't feel that under the influence because disease snatched it out of us, not to be able to feel or to allow you to feel your feelings for us. Good ones or bad ones. It didn't even matter. You follow? All that was just erased. Just erased. right out your life. So you become lifeless. You become lifeless in feeling, lifeless in thinking. You know what I'm saying? All of it just be lifeless. And you and when you're hungry, you don't even feel life. You feel like you got, it's crazy. You just crazy. You know what I mean? I gotta eat like the Little Shop of Horror. You know what I'm saying? The little plant was nice and cute. When Seymour saw it, and when he fed it blood, they couldn't feed it blood no more. Seymour got big as hell. You know what I mean? Seymour started eating people, killing people, the whole 9 yards. And that's what happened to us, because if we don't get the drugs and we don't get the alcohol, that's what we do. We become monsters. Y'all hear me? Y'all follow me? Hey, trees. So, going through all of that, to get to understand that first you are sick, to get to understand, again, that you have a sickness, that you have a disease, to understand the disease, and then to know and understand that you have a process that will help you as your medication, the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous and Alcoholics Anonymous. And the most powerful thing from it all is your higher power. You follow your higher power. You believe in it. You come to have faith in it, and it's going to take you to a world where, you'll start feeling that recovery is rewarding. It's rewarding when you use these 12 steps and, take this medication. Your faith, you'll have faith instead of despair. So, like that, you'll start having faith. You know what I mean? And that's going to start like giving you some feelings. It's going to work on your heart first. You know what I mean? Because you got to have those feelings and those emotions to get to the brain. You follow what I'm saying? It's just like what the heart and brain do. The heart pumps the oxygen so the brain can function. You know what I'm saying? And you won't feel like, you're all alone, or you don't have nothing or nobody that can, or something that can help you. At the same time, disease is weakening, but disease is still going to fight. Disease is going to fight for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean? Even for as long as I've been clean, and maybe some of you been clean, we still always have it come in us one way or the other. And that can be through people, it can be through places, or it can be through things, but definitely within self. You know what I mean? Dreams, happy times, bad times, good times, playing ball, you know what I mean? Reading those 12 steps, praying, you know what I mean? It's always lingering. It's always there, and it's mad. And it's going to stay mad. You know what I'm saying? Because it can't break your peace. It can't disconnect that heart and that brain anymore, because we got it locked solid. You know what I mean? And it can't do what it used to do. I done took the whole thing off, y'all. It can't do what it do. You know what I mean? No more. So, it takes us to a whole nother place. And then hope instead of desperation. These are the places that recovery, and when we learn from these 12 steps, you know what I mean? It start releasing us from all these things, and then peace instead of confusion. I'm not confused about this thing no more. Hey, look, when I started getting into them 12 steps, I wasn't confused no more. You know what I mean? I was getting very, very educated. You know what I mean? Not only does it save your life, it educates you on how to continue to live. And that's the greatest and the best part about it, but you got to have faith in it. You got to understand it. You got to know that this medication here works if you work it. And I ain't going to get no pills. I'm not going to get no shots. I'm not going to get half of the drug. No. I got my God. I have my higher power. You know what I mean? Who took care of all of that. They couldn't talk me into none of that. You follow? Because I don't need to transfer from one drug to the next. And personally, for me, that's how I see it. But I wasn't desperate. And back then, they didn't have that. They just had, it'll come to me. They just, methadone. They just had methadone. You know what I mean? They didn't offer us that. They only offered people who did opioids, people who had heroin, and stuff like that. But today, it ain't no name of nothing. They'll offer you all that mess for if you just drink beer. You follow what I'm saying? Because it's a money maker. Everything is a money maker now. I tell you, that money is the root of all evil. It is the root of all evil. They took a beautiful program and beautiful information and education out, you know what I mean, and put that stank behind medicine and all that crap in. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's just how I feel about it. You know, seeing is believing as far as I'm concerned. You follow what I'm saying? So, I mean, I see it, I seen it, and I have a long time in this field to have watched, you know, this thing fall victim. A lot of time to watch this fall victim. So my feelings are personal. You follow what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter to me what the job or anybody else feels about that, because, see, I serve God today. You know what I mean? He has me walking this walk and talking this talk. And my life today has to be the truth. You know what I mean? Because the truth is going to set me free, and it's going to help set you free. You follow? I can't sit here and tell you, you know, that that's what you need. I mean, I'm not going to get in the way of nobody who feels as though they do, because I can't save you. You follow what I'm saying? I can only give suggestions on what I think. You know what I mean? Only you know what's going to be good for you. But if you don't have no information and education coming off this side, and you just listening to all this on this side, and you broken, you know what I mean? You voiceless. You follow what I'm saying? You suffering. You follow? Disease got you down because it want to keep you down. So it ain't going to allow you to hear the truth. It's just going to have you relieve the pain. You know what I mean? So yes. Give me all that. You know what I mean? And before you know it, you walking around here a zombie. On the other side that you think is the good side and the legal side, but drugs is drugs in my book. You know what I mean? And like I say, I feel as though doctors, some of them is goddamn dealers. I don't care how you look at it. You follow? So you got to be very careful, real careful when you become a recovering person. You know what I mean? You have to make sense. You follow what I'm saying? And if you fight this fight and you get that armor and you get that armor on you, hey, look, this coming natural. It's coming because God has taken my attention. God has let me know that he serves me just like I thought he didn't. You understand what I'm saying? He's letting me know that he's there. He's giving me the strength. He's giving me the hope, and most of all, the faith in him. You know what I mean? That's my medication. You know? Nah, I even feel that way with this lupus thing. I don't want all that stuff. You know what I mean? God been keeping me on top of flow all this time. Now, I'm not crazy if I need it, but I know he going to send a way because he has the control at the end of the day. That's just how I believe. You know what I mean? And that's how much faith that I have in him. You know? So, you know, you got to be very careful about some of the choices because of the pain. And they say no pain, no gain. But see, this dope they got now, this new dope, this thing done took things to a higher level. So I understand it. Don't think I don't. I understand it because in my time of using, dope wasn't like this. You know what I mean? Hell, some of this shit is new. You know what I mean? Dang, I'm learning. I'm learning through my people. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning through my job. I'm learning through just watching people in society, hearing people talk about it. I got to listen, you know, so I can hear, so I can understand and try to help you to spread the word of the power of the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. There ain't nothing that you can not do without that. Trust me when I tell you that the fight is harder, the fight gets stronger, you know what I mean? But you got a higher power. Once you have that higher power and you get that faith and that trust, let me tell you something, disease ain't nothing. It ain't nothing because your higher power is going to throw that armor on you and it's going to allow you to start feeling and thinking, and guess what? You're going to come out on the top. You're going to come out on the top, and no pain, no gain. So don't think it's just peaches and cream. You know what I mean? You got work to do. You got a lot of work to do. You got to work on this and this, but first you got to make a decision to put this thing back together again. You know, because without one working with the other, it don't work that way. You know what I mean? That means that disease still has the control. Like you have some people who stop getting high, you know what I mean? And they know they really don't want to stop getting high. You know what I'm saying? But they do it anyway. You're going to feel recovery is forever when you get there and say recovery is forever. You're going to feel every bit of the love, you know what I mean? The shine, you know what I'm saying? The strengths, you understand what I'm saying? You're going to have the hopes, you know? You're going to feel the halo over top of your head that this is it. No means no by any means necessary. exist. You know, I can get a hallelujah on that one. That you never knew exist. You know, because a lot of people think that they around here in love, you know, and love is this and love with that. Hey, it took me to experience this life. It took me to experience this life that almost took my life. I didn't love nothing when I was under the influence. Love didn't exist. It didn't make a damn to me. But when I got that medication, that 12-step medication, you know what I mean? It gave it all back to me. It gave me more than I knew exist. And that's the sweetness in it, because everything in me was sour. You follow? The depression, you know what I mean? The suppressing all these things I did for all those years. You know what I mean? The hating, you know, the I don't cares. You know what I mean? Man, God don't do nothing for me. You know what I mean? I'm feeling sorry for myself, blaming everything on everybody else. Now I know how to accept these things. You know what I mean? To pump me up. You know, to pump that blood back in me to put up here in this brain. You know what I mean? And then this brain got the functioning, you know what I mean, as the engine and not the caboose. You follow what I'm saying? But it had to go through all the carts to get to be the engine. You know what I'm saying? And then it's there. You know, and once it's there, all you hear is the horn, whoo-hoo, beeping, because I'm learning something all the time. Just being around people, just being around places, having that faith has taken me to such a higher level, you know what I mean, that, hey, they say you can't get no higher with this, you can get higher with. You can get higher and higher and higher and higher. You follow what I'm saying? There is no limit till I get to see them. Till I get in those gates. You follow? And I'm going to continue to work for them as long as I possibly can. I'm going to offer you guys everything that I have, whether you choose to believe it or you don't, because somebody do. You understand? It's helping somebody. You follow what I'm saying? If it helps one, my job is well done. If it stays one, my job is well done. And if not, I know I'm living it. You know what I mean? So that really means I am doing and connected with my higher power. You know? It's nothing that they say is guaranteed. You know? You have to work on it. You have to work on it, and you're going to realize that you missed a whole lot thinking that you knew a whole lot. But you're going to see how much growing that you will do from this, you know what I mean? And every single day. You know, every day is not a great day. You know what I mean? Every day is not a great day, but I still thank God for that day too. You know, I get peace instead of confusion. That's another thing. You know what I mean? I'm feeling peace today. You know, I'm feeling peace today with the war. I'm feeling peace today with the world. You know, I get up every day. My higher power wakes me up every day. Not the war, not the world. You follow what I'm saying? I learned to understand that. You know, and I understand to be grateful for another day. And that's why I thank him every day for another day. You know, and I hope to see tomorrow, you know, and I thank him for yesterday because I did the right things yesterday. And I didn't use, you know, and I didn't give up, you know. So it brought me into today. I earned it, just like you do. You earn your days. You know what I mean? You be grateful for the days. You know, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Anybody with me on that one? You know, you ain't even got to be an addict or an alcoholic. You know? I have a clear conscience instead of the sense of guilt. You know? I had to, step 4, I had to take a more inventory on myself. You know what I mean? And dig deep. You know what I mean? And it helped me to clear my conscience. You know, I tell you, that medication is great. You know, I do that all the time. You know what I mean? That's a step that I always have to do. You know what I mean? Even though I work the whole 12 steps. Yeah, but every single one is important. You know what I mean? There's no one that's not important than the other. You follow? You know, it's just, to me, it's called life and serenity. You know what I mean? And it's the dots that keeps me connected. You know, so I believe in it. And every time I go to it, it's like you'll go to a Bible. It works for me. It works for me. You know, and I'm so grateful that I have that connection. You know what I mean? With the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. I clear my conscience instead of a sense of guilt. You know what I mean? I don't feel guilty anymore. I made amends, you know, and I first made amends to myself, and I made amends to my higher power, and then I was able to make amends to the people. You know what I mean? My children, my mom, you know what I mean? Anybody that I have done some things to. You know, some people, I mean, I ain't even done nothing to them. They just ain't like the fact that I looked the way that I was looking. They ain't like the fact that I went on the other side. You know what they call the other side. They ain't like the fact of saying that I was out there tricking. They ain't like the fact of saying that I don't take care of my kids. You know what I mean? They look at me as the monster. You follow what I'm saying? Well, guess what? Inside I am a monster. You know what I mean? Because I live with a monster. You know, that's the part that you didn't understand. You know what I'm saying? But I found myself. You know what I mean? I fight the monster every day. You know what I mean? I have to be aware of the monster because it ain't going nowhere. But I got it in remission. You know what I mean? Because I got some kick-ass. I got it in remission. I got them 12 steps. You know what I mean? And I've learned how to have a conscious contact with God. You know what I mean? Again, I go back to that faith. Again, I go back to that love for him. Again, I go back to that trust for him. And that's my suit of armor. You understand what I'm saying? So disease don't scare me. You know, I'm aware of what it does, you know, and I know what it's capable of doing. I learned it all through the NAAA in the process. You follow what I'm saying? I just knew that I had to keep my hat and keep my armor on. You know what I mean? And it took the simple word, no. No means no by any means necessary. A simple word, no. That is just crazy amazing. It's just like, wow. You know? No. No. I ain't doing it. I ain't listening. No. No. That's simple. And they told me that it becomes simple. You know, understand it. Understand these things today. And it's really simple. You know, when you get your life back. It's really simple when you get your head back in connection with your heart. You know what I mean? It gets simple when you fight, you know, this disease that you learned about. You know what I mean? But you got to trust in the process. You got to trust in this process. And I promise you, it will help you restore your sanity. You know what I mean? I don't feel guilty of my life anymore. It was just something that I guess I had to go through, to get through, to come through. You know what I'm saying? See that? I understand it all. You know what I mean? And those things sound so simple to me today. You know, it was confusing why they was trying to explain it to me years ago. You know what I mean? But I got it. You know, I got it. But for the grace of God, I got it. You know, now I can share it. Now I can give it to you and explain to you my way of what I feel it is, you know, and how it works. That's what we all do. We get clean to help the next person get clean. You know what I mean? There's no competition. You know, that's just what God asks us to do. Spread it. Help them still suffering. You know, because it ain't nothing but freaking devil, which is disease, DIS/EASE, that's inside you and beating you apart. You know what I mean? Because it separated everything. It separated this from this. This is why I say DIS/EASE. This is why I say that. And until you get that slash and come to understand how disease works, you got to keep it sealed. You got to keep it locked and keyed, because it's going to try its best to come back at you any way, shape, or form, or people, places, or things. You know what I mean? But with all this, and this 12 steps will teach you how to be aware of it. Will teach you how to love yourself, keep you strong, and keep that higher power first, and have faith that he will work and take care of you. That's what it is. That's the antibiotic. You know what I mean? Real friendship instead of loneliness. That goes into the people, places, and things part. You're going to know who your people are. You're going to know who your loved ones are. You're going to know, you know, where people is coming from and what they doing. You know, sometimes you could say, damn if you do, damn if you don't. But I'm so grateful that I understand that as well. These are rewards, y'all. These are the rewards that we earn when we follow this 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous and find that God in your life. These are rewards when you get the medication that builds you up. You understand what I'm saying? Be able to take it You know what I mean? Or leave it, because you know how to make choices and decisions today. And you know how to make the rational ones versus the irrational ones. See, this is all the stuff that they teach you. You know what I mean? In the rooms, in the rehabs. You know what I mean? In the 12 step. I mean, in the literatures that we have. Even the 12 steps. You know what I mean? I was going to say 12-step books. You know what I'm saying? But you know, this is how we gain, you know, this strength, you know, because we have hope. You know what I mean? And we have caring in us now and sharing in us now. And we have love for ourselves. And we're trying to keep the peace within ourselves. You know what I mean? So it becomes a set of armor. You know what I mean? That you just can't let nobody try to break. You can't let nobody try to get in. You know what I mean? And people going to say, damn if you do, damn if you don't, because they don't understand recovery. But they thought they understood disease. They thought they understood the junkie. They thought what they seen is really what it was. It's just what you saw, but inside you couldn't see. And inside you couldn't feel it. You know what I mean? But when a person can make it out, you know, you still talking shit. They'll still be coming at you. They gonna always say, girl, I remember when she such and such and such and such. Well, guess what? I remember when I did too. You follow? But you don't know what you say builds me up. You know what I'm saying? It keeps me motivated to keep doing what I'm doing because, look, you can see it. You can see it. And Stevie Wonder can see it because he'll be able to hear it. You understand what I'm saying? You know? So people and places, this teaches us how to make these good decisions. We know what we can be around and we know what we shouldn't be around. You understand? Because disease works through them. You know, and that's family members, loved ones, the teacher, the man in the market, the neighbors, the people down the street. You understand? It's everything and everybody around you. You know what I'm saying? Because don't forget, we lived in a dome. You know what I mean? We lived in a dome that only we understand. You know, because if you're not an addict or you're not an alcoholic, you can't speak our truth. You can't speak on us. You can just talk about us. You know what I mean? But until you live that life, which I don't suggest nobody do, you know what I'm saying? You don't know what's going on inside. You know, the monster that you see is really beautiful. The monsters that you see are human beings who just made mistakes. We made bad choices. We didn't know how to make rational choices. We thought we was because we thought we had the strength. We thought we were strong enough not to go through these things that this disease that I never heard of until I went into a rehab was doing to me. That's why it was hard for me to believe it. What you mean disease? I ain't got no disease, you know. I thought, shoot, I ain't catch no AIDS. I'm thinking like that. You know, not even knowing that this was a self-inflicted disease that's cunning, baffling, and powerful that I invited to my world in my life that took my life, took my heart, because all I was doing was walking dead because I was like a puppet and didn't know how to make a choice. Didn't know how to make a decision. I didn't care about having kids. I didn't care about what the family thought about or you either. You know what I mean? I just did what the master said do. Y'all heard me call him master, right? That's definitely what it was. I'm going to send some hearts on that one. I'm going to send some hearts on that one. I'm telling you. I'm going to send them hearts on that one because I tell you, this thing I'm talking about is coming from the heart. And I'm going to leak the truth every second and every minute that I can. I'm going to leak this truth. You know what I mean? Some people don't want to know the truth because they embarrassed. Some people don't want to know the truth because they don't feel as though they could do it. Some people don't want to know the truth because they don't have the strength in them right now to even know that they can. You know what I mean? It's a time and it's a perfect timing for everybody. It's a perfect timing for everybody to get this. You know what I'm saying? But it's hard to go through it in order to get it. You know what I mean? So that's why we say you got to get through it to go. You have to go through it to get through it to come through it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's a job. It's a process, and it has to happen. And if you don't have no ammo, you're gonna be dead. If you don't have no ammo, you know, if you don't have a higher power that would lead you, you understand what I'm saying? Lead you through this. You know what I mean? And you got that faith in him that you know you're going to rumble with the higher power because that's where I'm at. I'm with God. You know what I'm saying? Come on, disease, because I can fight. I always could fight. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm fighting you and I'm winning. You know what I mean? I won my fights too. I I'm going to fight you. I'm winning, and I'm going to keep on fighting because this is the best fight and the worst fight of my life. God, I'm feeling this. I tell you, this thing take me to a whole higher planet, y'all. It take me way up here. You know what I'm saying? It rewards me. And that's what I'm trying to say tonight. That, you know, even though we were down, even though we was toe up, you know, when we find that 12 steps and we find God and we get our life together and we find a process and a structure, because you need all of that, that can help you restore your sanity. I'm telling you, this thing is beautiful. This thing feels good. You hear me? I feel like getting up and shout. You know, and sometimes I do that. You follow? The freedom of a happy life instead of a bondage and drug abstinence that it will take over you that way. I ain't gonna live that no more. I don't live that no more. But guess the most important thing is that I'm aware of it. I know that where I come from. You know what I mean? I know that feeling, and I can talk about it. I can tell anybody about it because I ain't hearing about nothing. I live it. You know what I'm saying? And I lived it. You know what I mean? The worst and the good. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have anything in between that. You know what I mean? The thing that I got around me like a halo is God. You know what I'm saying? And I tell you, I have that faith today because, see, action is louder than words. You know what I mean? And you ain't blind. You follow me? You ain't blind. A lot of people look at me like, girl, you done got corny. I love being corny. I love being corny. It ain't too much that I haven't done. It ain't too much that I'm missing because you're doing the same shit that I couldn't handle for me, that took me down, that tore me up. You know what I mean? I even understand all that it did on the inside of me. That's probably why this lupus started busting my butt, because I done tore up some organs. You understand? I done tore my immune system down quietly. You follow what I'm saying? And didn't even know that it was battling me. That's why I say to you, functionals, you know, this thing is vicious. It's cunning, baffling, and powerful. And we need every bit of everything God gave us to live on this earth. You understand what I'm saying? And that's a heart, that's a kidney, that's a rib, that's everything. You know what I'm saying? And the poison that we put in it disintegrates it. It just beat it up. It beat it up and make you feel like you having fun and this shit ain't doing nothing to you. And it is. It's working all the time. All the time. Happy times, sad times, good times, bad times. This thing is on a job. It's on a mission. And the mission is to destroy and make you feel like it's okay. Because I don't handle it like that. I don't do it like that. Poison is poison. The same drinks we had is the same drinks you drink. The same dope we did is the same dope, is not the same dope that we did, because dope done got to a higher planet. You understand what I'm saying? And alcohol too. You don't know what they putting in this stuff. It just still look the same. You know what I mean? They changing names. They making it beautiful. They making it classy. You know what I'm saying? They making it feel like, you know, you the best because you drink this. You know what I mean? Ain't no different than the less of a person that you thinking of is still poison, because all of it is made out of the same thing. You follow what I'm saying? It is not good. You drink too much of any of it, it's going to change you. It's going to change you into somebody else. It's going to make you feel different. You understand what I'm saying? And that works for everybody. Because when you get your little drink on, or you get your little wine on, and you keep drinking your drink and drinking your wine, that thing changes you. It changes a lot about you. Sometimes it makes us laugh. Sometimes it makes us sad. Sometimes it makes us just party. You know what I mean? It's flipping with emotions. You understand? Disease is in there like, party, hey, party. I got this one. Party, you know, and you're not feeling as much as we feel as an addict who abuses the drinking and abuse the drug. You know what I mean? He know what he's conquering up. This thing, the devil knows what he's conquering up inside of you, and I call disease the devil. It wants you to make you think that you alright. It wants to make you think that you okay. You know what I mean? But in the real reality of it, you're not. That's just me. That's just me. Having accountability for my own actions. That's what I'm just talking about. You know, I can hold myself responsible. today. You know what I mean? I just can accept the things I can't change. I can hold myself responsible when I'm right, and I can hold myself responsible when I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I have the wisdom to know the difference today. You know what I'm saying? And the first thing a person that knows me, family, friends, or whatever, you know what I mean? That's the first thing they throw on you. You know what I mean? Because you remember when, you know how you was or how you used to be. You know what I mean? Yeah, I do. You know? So that's why I'm not going to fall victim of that, because how I used to be, I'm going to argue with you. How I used to be, I'm going to fight you. You know what I mean? How I used to be, I'm not going to think of you like you nothing. You know what I mean? But how I think today is I'm going to pray for you, because you still harping on what I was, so you don't mean well to me. You know what I mean? In my world, you know what I mean? I made lots of changes, whether or not you've seen it, or you see it, or you don't. You understand? Because I know who got me, and I know the changes that I made. I know how to make decisions, right decisions or wrong decisions. I know how to be cocky, and I also know how to be loved. You know what I mean? And I know how to give love, and I love myself more than you, so I don't allow what you say make sense to me. You know what I mean? I just say your sickness. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I have to look at things that keep myself where I need to be. You know what I mean? You don't have to trust me. You don't have to believe in me. You don't have to see my change, but I'm rewarded. I'm rewarded with a bunch of stuff. You follow what I'm saying? In my change, you know what I mean? I'm the one that lives in this body right here, and it's personal between me and it. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Nothing to do with you. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with you. You understand what I'm saying? This thing is personal. And it's become personal. You understand? Because that's what works for me. And I'm not going to let disease come through you to break me down and make me start feeling all crazy and have my damn puzzle break it up. I ain't doing that. I'm going to ask God about it. I'm going to talk to God about it. You know what I'm saying? Before I make the decision. You know what I'm saying? That quick. Bam. Because I'm rewarded. And yo, let me tell you something. We get rewarded, people. We get rewarded. Listen to me, recovering people. Y'all know, listen to me, people who haven't recovered yet or made that decision. Rewards is coming, and they don't come right away. You understand? You got to earn them. You got to wait for them to happen. You know what I mean? Just like we waited to become an addict. Just like we waited to make the wrong choices and decisions. You know what I mean? If you're not even an addict. You know what I mean? Just being a person yourself. You understand? That has no guidelines. You know, that don't have a God. That don't have a higher power. You know what I'm saying? You all over the place too. And some of you that have one is still all over the place because you think you got it all. You think you got enough. But guess what? You got to have the wisdom to know the difference. And that takes learning. That takes being taught. That takes having something that can help you. You understand what I'm saying? Especially in this world and life. I know I done been through it. You follow? So I could talk about it. I could talk about it even with somebody who don't get high. You know what I mean? Because they think because they don't get high that they better than you, or they smarter than you, or they stronger than you. Let me tell you something. The strength that I have today, getting through that sickness, you better not mess with me. You better not mess with me, because I know how to talk to you. I know how to get to you. You understand what I'm saying? Because all I'm going to tell you is I'm going to pray for you. That's what I'm going to do for you. And if that's what you think, that's what you think. You know what I mean? But one thing you can't speak for is me. I'm in control of this. I got this. You follow? I got this when it comes to me. I don't care what you saw I was. I don't care what you know that I done. You know what I mean? Your ignorance is allowing my strength to become stronger. That's what happens here. And that's a reward, because I know how to live, and let God. You understand what I'm saying? And that is one of the biggest rewards that I have received so far in this recovery. Trust that. You know, this thing is rewarding. When you learn the process. This thing is rewarding when you have a God. This thing is rewarding when you learn structure. You understand? This thing is rewarding when you learn change. You know? And don't nobody have to believe in you as long as you do. Because you know God does. Faith. That's what that is. And then having accountabilities for my own actions. Yes. I know how to do that today. You know what I mean? Hell, as an addict, you know, and an active addict, man, I know how to lie like lying is going out of style. with a straight face. You know what I mean? With no feelings, no nothing. I just know how to cry just because I wanted to. You know what I mean? Disease is cunning, baffling, and powerful. And once I told one lie, I told another lie. And listen good, family, when I tell you this. And then I told another lie, and I told another lie. I lied so much that I became the lie. I lived the lie. I believed in the lie. And I trust my own lie. And over top of all that, I protected it. Whew. This thing is vicious. This thing is vicious. And today I know that I lied. Today I know that it was bad. Today I know that I didn't even feel like I was alive, but that's what I did. You know, that lying became normal. It was just normal. So I couldn't feel nothing bad about it. It worked for me. Shit, it worked for me. It's like some of y'all just liars. You know what I mean? And most importantly, you lie to yourself first to even become one. You don't take drugs and alcohol and have to do that. You know? It took me to fall in order to know where I stand. You know? And this is another part of what I'm talking about. You know, I had to fall in my life. You know what I mean? To be able to stand today in life. You know, that's just where it was for me. That's just what happened to me and for me. That's just the type of decisions and the lifestyle that I lived. You know what I mean? I can't blame my mother. You know what I mean? She was a blessed mother. She was a perfect mom, as far as I'm concerned. You understand? I can't bless my sisters and blame it on my sisters and brothers. You understand what I'm saying? Because I now know today that I'm responsible for me. You know what I mean? I made all the decisions, and even if my sisters or brothers or friends or aunts and uncles was getting high and drinking, that don't mean that I had to do it. I did it because of my thoughts about it. I did it because of what I saw that it would be okay. They looked like they was having fun. They looked like everything was cool. You know? I chose it. No matter how you look at it. So get up out of that shit and say I did it because my mother got high or my father got high. Get up out of that shit. You did it because you chose to do it. You may not understood it as you was making those choices, you know, but you'll come to understand it when you get the information and the education on why we are like we are, you know, as addicts. When we get some structure in our lives, those 12 steps. You understand what I'm saying? When you get to know the truth about you because it's written in 12 steps of who you can become. You know what I mean? The literature tells us how we became this thing, and the literature tells us all about how we became, you know, in this predicament. You know what I mean? You can't say it was nobody. It was your choice. It was just your choice. Of course it was my choice not thinking that this thing would take me out. Of course it was my choice. I ain't know nothing about no damn disease. You know what I mean? It was my choice not to believe and have faith in God. Everything I've done because I chose to do it. And that's becoming an unlying. You know what I mean? You starting to tell the truth, you know, and the truth is going to set you free. It really is. So the lying got to stop. Because the lying is in the way. It comes from sickness. It comes from the power of sickness. It comes from the devil, whomever you choose to call it. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to take an inventory on yourself and tell the truth. And when you bring the truth up, it's going to set you free. Promise you. I see that daggone heart. I'm going to join y'all too. I'm going to get all up in that too. Because guess what? I'm feeling this thing. I'm going to get all up in that too. I love doing this, man. This thing gives me so much honor. It gives me so much strength. You know what I mean? It gives me so much hope. You know what I mean? Not just for myself, but for you too. You understand? Because this is why I'm here. To share my strengths and hope and my caring and sharing. This is why I'm on here. And when I tell you this thing lights me up, it lights me up. You know what I'm saying? The people don't know what I'm feeling right now, but a recovering person knows what I'm feeling right now. Even a man of God or a woman of God, you got to know what I'm feeling right now because it's all over me right now. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. And I know I'm delivering. I know I'm delivering. Because at the end of the day, he lets me know. Job well done, Tracy. Job well done. You know? Love this thing, y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all for listening to me. I love y'all for being on here. You know, I love y'all for tuning in. Hey, Veneer, what's up, baby? Hey, Mary Almond. Let me say hello to Charlene. How you doing, girlie? I'm Teresa. You know, I'm so happy to see everybody on. And come on, you know I got to give my shout-outs. Donna Billups, you know, Johnson, Jacqueline Nicole, and 3 others are watching this telling me that. Thank you guys, you know, for watching and coming on. Make sure that y'all share this. You know what I mean? So we can spread this word all over the world. So we can spread this words to others. You hear what I'm saying? This is one of the best ways of doing it anymore. Technology. You know, I'm so glad that I'm learning how to even deal with it. But I know I feel good on here doing what I'm doing, whether or not it's right. You know what I mean? Whether or not it's not like CMP. You know what I mean? But I know I'm being heard, and I know this message is getting out. You know what I mean? I'm not Oprah. You follow what I'm saying? I'm not none of them. You know what I mean? God don't have me on that mission. He has me on this one, just the way it is. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm open for learning. Anybody can help me. You know what I mean? You know, but helping is something that needed always. I'm not a techie. I'm not into this stuff, but I am into what I'm talking about. I am into sharing the word. And if this thing can do this thing for me just like it's being done, hey, look, I'm grateful. I'm happy. You know, if it gets better, I'm going to be happy for that too. But today it is what it is. And like I said, I live one day at a time. You know what I mean? And I don't seem to be doing a bad job, even with this little, what you call it, this little tablet, you know what I mean, and my phone. You know, they laughing at me because I've been down, I get up and turn off. Guess what? I'm turned on right now. You know what I mean? I'm turned on with the words of what I know. I'm turned on sharing and caring and giving that word of recovery, helping people. That's what's turned on. I don't care about this little screen. I don't care about this TV. All I know is I can see me, and I can see me shouting. I can see me sharing. You know what I mean? And I see you through coming back on this thing. You know what I mean? So I know it's working. You follow what I'm saying? I'm gonna get fancy sooner or later if that's God's will. You know what I mean? But right now, this is it. You follow? This is it. You know? And I'm grateful. And I'm happy. You know? He got me right where he wants me to be. I'm in no rush. I'm being honest with you. And a lot of people say that, you know, girl, you could be doing this and you could be doing that. I'm doing what God asked me to do. And the word is happening right here, how I'm doing it. You understand what I'm saying? I know many more people can see this. I don't even have the speaker on because I don't know what happened, Uncle P. I don't know what happened. You know, that's what's been happening every time. And they charge because I charge them overnight. You know, but my message is getting out. You know what I mean? So P got to come tell me what I'm doing. What I'm doing wrong, because I know it's something that I'm doing. But I'm okay. It don't stop the show. It don't stop the message. You know what I'm saying? You can hear me loud and clear. Show me hearts if you can hear me. You know what I'm saying? Long as you hear me, that's all that matters to me. You know what I'm saying? Just show me them hearts if you can hear what I'm saying. You know, because that's the only thing that matters. You follow for real? I know the sound system can be great. I don't have the great stuff to do it with, and I don't know nothing about it, even though P showed me 100 times. I don't have all that, but I got this. You know what I mean? I got this in me, and that's the greatest thing ever. You know, for me, I see the hearts. I know you can hear me. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm going to keep on doing this, and I'm going to get that too. Believe me, I am. You know, but first I got to do what God asked me to do. I got to put that word out. You know what I mean? I got to keep doing what I'm sent to do. You know, hey, Stacy, you know, Charlene, I'm talking about, you know, we are blessed, you know, with rewards when we trust in the process. You know what I'm saying? You get blessed. Definitely that. You know what I mean? And rewards are more to come. You know what I mean? You know, so, you know, like I said, you know, I take it one day at a time, you know, but I'm telling you, when it start coming up and it start coming, man, I'm telling you, man, it's the most beautiful feeling in the world. Boy, I tell you, getting high can't touch this motivation here. Getting high can't touch this high that I have today You know what I mean? And one thing I can promise you and tell you that this high gonna come every time you share. It's gonna come every time that you have something in yourself greater than yourself. You know what I mean? It comes with the structure of 12 Steps of Narcotics Anonymous. It comes with the NA books, the AA books, to all who reads the Bible, to all who reads the Quran. You know what I mean? To whomever God that you choose to have. This feeling is unbreakable. It is unable to be touched. You know what I mean? For as long as I feel the way that I feel, you know what I mean? And I keep taking my medication, you understand what I'm saying? And I keep following the structure that was given to me, you know what I mean? And always pray for the still suffering and suffering addicts. And I always pray for everybody today. You know what I mean? Because see, somebody praying for me. You know what I mean? Somebody praying for me. And that's how I got this information. That's how this information and this thing that I do right now came to me. You know what I mean? It came through people. Don't get it twisted. It came through people. It came through people in places. You know what I mean? It comes through people doing things. So it's all working out for me. Every single bit of it. I just know how to make rational decisions and where it come from, who it come from, what they say, and how they say it. Woo! I'm blessed by the best, y'all. Since I changed, you know who I was, and now I have become who I am and who I want to be. I'm doing things that I want to do today. I'm there, and I'm reaching, you know, and I'm reaching, and I'm learning, and I'm helping people. You know, this is why that LNT award came to me. You know, I just feel that anybody can sit up here and do what we do, you know what I mean, should be rewarded. I know we're getting rewards from God, you know what I mean? I know we're getting rewards, you know, and we can feel it within ourselves, you know what I mean? But there's nothing wrong with doing something for each other. You know what I'm saying? And I feel, you know, with my talents, God gave me many talents. You know what I mean? And with my talents came in my head like, dang, I want to reward these people. I want to give them something. You know what I mean? I want to give them something not for helping me, but for helping the still suffering addicts and alcoholics today. Helping the people with depression. Helping the people who has grief. Helping people who is living with high anxiety. Helping people who's living with psych. You know what I mean? Psychiatric issues. Helping people who just don't know. Helping people who don't understand. You know what I mean? What more can you get from that? You know what I mean? How could you serve your higher power? How could you serve your God? The way that he has it walking for you, talking for you, and listed in your lifestyle. I don't care how you had to get to it, to come through it, to go through it. You follow what I'm saying? Well, now you're there. You know what I mean? I'm there now. And my rewards is what I do. My rewards is what I do. You understand what I'm saying? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for all of what he's done for me. You know, that's the reward. That's the greatest reward of it all. You know what I mean? And when you can feel it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? From what you've been through, you know, when you can feel it for what you had to go through, and you can feel it now that you come through, what else can give you more? What else? Spreading it. That's what it is. Spreading it and helping the next suffering addict or alcoholic today. And that's what he asked me to do, and that's what I shall do. You follow? And today, I can clearly say today, that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't try to get above myself or ahead of myself, because I've learned how, from the structure, to live one day at a time. And it's not even hard, it's simple. It's really simple. You know, a lot of my clients say, man, that's hard, Miss T. No, it's not. If you keep telling yourself it's hard, it's going to be hard. See, even when you talk, you feed disease. It's how you talk. It's what you say. It's how you thinking. You know what I mean? That's where it got you, in your thinking. You know what I mean? It broke it all up. So you don't know how to speak anymore. You don't know how to protect yourself anymore. You just know how to do what the brain is telling you to do, that has the disease that's cunning, baffling, and powerful up there, that has overtaken your speech. You know what I mean? Has overtaken your voice. You know what I mean? And right now, if you can't get from this, you know, to get out of this, you know what I mean? It's just going to kill you. It's going to win. It's going to do what it's set to do. You follow what I'm saying? But if you come to just listen so that you can hear, so that you can see, and give this 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous a chance, or the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous a chance. Go into your Bible, do whatever, something that you don't do, you know what I mean? But you got to know how to listen, to hear, to see in order to even do that. You follow what I'm saying? Start listening to people. Start accepting some things people are saying to you. You don't have to, but it's your choice, because you're going to try over and over and over and over again, just like the rest of us. You know what I mean? It's going to cause relapse and relapse and relapse, or death. You know what I mean? Or jail, over and over and over again. That's just the only circle that you can live in this addictive lifestyle. It won't allow you to go nowhere else. So you have to be fueled. Like I was talking about the car, you got to put some fuel in your engine. You got to put some fuel in this, and you got to shut up. You got to shut up, and you got to learn how to listen. They say take the cotton out your mouth and put it in your ears. And that's definitely what I had to do. You know what I mean? Because I thought I knew. I thought I can do it. I'm strong. I could do this. I'm not even worried about it. But I didn't do it until I shut up. And I learned how to listen. And that's what allowed me to walk this walk. And to talk this talk. And I'm not going to lie to you about it, because lying got me where I was with it. I'm going to tell you the truth, because the truth sets me free, and it keeps me clean, and it keeps me honest. It's going to allow you to recognize the lie in you, because the lie is you, and it just took over you, that you don't even know what truth feel like. That's what it do. It takes it. You can't feel it. Hell, don't forget, disease got the heart and the brain disconnected. You can't feel nothing. Your emotions is done. They shot. You follow? And you think what you feeling is good. You think what you feeling is right. But all that is just the sight part of it. You follow? That only causes depression. It causes mental health. You understand what I'm saying? It causes death. That's all it does. That's all it gives you, and we think we got pride when we sick, you know what I mean, because we're sick, and I have respect for you, any sick person. I have respect for the alcoholic. I have respect for the junkie, quote unquote junkie. I have respect for you, and I know that you are somebody. I know that you can get through this, but you got to get through this. You understand what I'm saying? And some of us, it's harder than it was for others. You know what I mean? And it's going to be harder for others. You know what I mean? But don't say that they don't get better. Don't say that they can't get better. Don't wish nobody to die. You understand? Don't wish nobody to stay in that hell, because that's what it is. It's hell. You know what I mean? Pray for them. Understand them. Hear me when I'm talking. I'm just not talking to the addict or the alcoholic. I'm talking to the ones who don't know nothing about it. I'm talking to the family members, so you can continue to love your loved one. You know what I mean? You can't give up on your loved one. You understand what I'm saying? And in the ways that you do, you don't think that you're doing it because disease is working through you. I'm going to join this heart party. I'm going to join this thing one more time. I'm just going to join it because it's the truth. It's the truth. I'm telling you, y'all, hear me. Hear me. Hear what I'm talking about tonight. You know what I mean? I want y'all to come to the LMNT award too. You know what I'm saying? We get down in a different way there. You know what I mean? We just enjoy each other, and have a good time loving on each other. You know what I mean? It feels so good to hand, you all a award. You know what I'm saying? I don't go to the store and buy no trophies. I buy images and things that I think of you. Images and things that you showed everybody on here. You know what I mean? Because my heart is in this. My heart is all involved in this. You know what I mean? And God gave me that value in this. You know what I mean? He gave me a lot of things that I could do. You know what I mean? I have a lot of what a word I'm trying to think of. Y'all know y'all gotta bear with me sometimes, because when I get hyped and I get all like this, you know what I mean? I fight this lupus every day. Especially when I'm sitting down here doing this, using all my energy up, because this thing just make you just, slip you know, in your head when you're talking. It just be like, where the word go at? You know what I'm saying? You know, or it makes you feel like I be drained when I'm done with this. You know what I mean? But God gives me the strength to do it. He gives me the strength to do it for as long as I need to on this hour. You know what I mean? To half hour. You know, but, you know, living in my truth is something that I just feel, you know, honored to do. You know what I mean? And like I said, giving you these awards is meaningful. You know, it means just what that person is and what that person is doing and what it did for us, you know, on living in my truth. You know, and I hope you guys come. I even said, look, we're going to do this thing, walking the purple carpet. Hey, Trees, you remember last year it rained on us, but we still got through it. You know what I'm saying? And it was beautiful. And that was the first one that just, you know, came to mind. But this one is put in detail. You know what I mean? Because when I do something, I like for it, all dots to be under the I, over the I, and the T's crossed. You know what I mean? And it can only get better. So y'all come on out, you know, and spend that 4 hours with this beautiful moment, you know, that will be given and done, you know, and still, you know what I'm saying, respect, you know, and learn more about the still suffering and addicts and alcoholics today. Because amongst this celebration, you're going to see a lot of us who's living today. You know what I mean? A lot of us who have achieved a lot of rewards and are still standing and still learning. You know what I mean? And a lot of us don't look like the things that we've been through. We don't, because God blessed us. You know what I'm saying? You know, and he know who he chose. He know what he wants. He know who he choose for all of what he need us to do. You know, so I hope to see all of you. If you guys want to donate or send me a star, I appreciate that. Stars is what, 20 cents. You know what I mean? So is my donation. I don't care what you put in it. You know what I mean? But I'm asking you all to do that. I'm asking all of you who actually knows me, you know, on this live, you know, to help me with this. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not asking for much. You know what I mean? I want to be able to keep on doing this and keep my momentum strong. You know what I'm saying? And get the things that I need to make this better. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's a God's gift. You know, so, you know, sending a star or a donation, you know, towards this, I really appreciate it. You know, I know a lot of you that's on here. You know what I mean? Help a sister out. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm going to pray on that, though. I'm going to pray on that hard, you know, that I can see, you know, stars coming, you know what I'm saying, and donations coming, because I am a nonprofit organization, you know, and all that I do and all that I have, I buy, you know what I'm saying, even this program, you know what I'm saying, the Helen and T Awards, you know, so your tickets help me to do it. Your tickets help me to be able to continue to do it, because people enjoyed themselves so much last year. I wasn't going to do this but every 5 years if God granted it. And they like, nah, you got to do this every year. You know, so I talked to God about it. And he don't see nothing wrong with it either. You know what I'm saying? Because it's still helping and blessing his people, you know, and all of us. So I know it's becoming that time. Hey, Kelly, how you doing? Debbie, Dennis, how you doing? You know, I'm loving and I'm grateful for everybody who came on tonight. I need all of you to share this on your phone so it can go to another person, and another person can share it to another person. Okay? Next week, we'll be right back on again if God bless us. You know what I'm saying? And next week, I'll have somebody here sitting on the couch with me. You follow? I love having people on the couch, but I also love sitting on the couch and sharing with you solo as well. You know what I mean? No matter what, each Wednesday that God blesses us with, we're going to have something to say. You follow what I'm saying? I'm going to definitely have something to say, you know? And I hope I got good listeners, you know, that are listening. So I'm going to, again, say the serenity prayer. God grants me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God's will not ours. I see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you. And hope to see you at the LMNT Awards.